Have you ever wondered what is wrong with me? Because I just keep on buying stuff. You probably have all the stuff you need already. You also might be quite enlightened that stuff will not make you happy or content. Still, you keep on buying. What is wrong? I have spent endless moments thinking about this, and now I have some answers. I want to share them with you. Hi, I'm Henna, professional organizer and former marketing bro that left marketing because I do not want to guide people to overconsume anymore. So done with that. Today I help families with demanding careers to clear out their homes and minds. In this video I want to talk about resisting the urge to buy from willpower point of view. There are so many areas that affect on our buying behavior. But in order to dive a little bit deeper, we will keep the willpower focus today. I ran into this topic again a couple of weeks ago. I literally felt that something bumped my head. I was traveling with my kids. On that trip, I was the single caretaker, and I was traveling on a route that was not familiar to me. So I had to push a little bit harder than normally. And yes, even normally my kids are always quite active and adventurous, so there is not much time to rest and fill the energy cups. Maybe you can relate. So I was feeling tired, hungry, even overwhelmed a couple of times during that trip due to the level of active participation I had to put in. All the gas stations, the ferry itself that we took to travel to Sweden, and all the shops in town there almost got me. I found myself staring at this cute green cup on the ferry store when I fully realized what was happening. I had let my guards down. I was almost buying the cup. Although I do not need any more cups on my lifetime, probably ever again. I have been on a minimalistic mode for some years already now. I'm really mindful of what I buy and bring into my home. I use one cup every day. So this is because I do not wish to feel stressed and anxious and overwhelmed of stuff that I barely need. I wish to teach mindful consuming also to my children, 3 little children that I have. But still, there I was, found myself in the middle of all these temptations. And it was so hard to resist the temptation to buy. Even as a professional organizer and a person that has been really studying this topic, it was so hard. All these cute things, all these lovely accessories or gifts to take back home. And I want to highlight that I do know that it is hard not to buy. So I'm already quite aware of this, and I have some techniques to help me out. Because I would get into trouble without those in my everyday life. That is the amount of hamster that I still am. I was in trouble. When I realized what was happening, I became aware, and that actually saved me from buying more clutter and bringing it to my home. I sticked to my shopping list. I'm so proud of that. I will share you my techniques in the end of the video. I hope you stick around to see if there are some new ones that you could try. One definition of willpower is the ability to resist short-term temptations in order to meet long-term goals. So, for example, for me, the long-term goal is to live without excess clutter. So, short-term goal would be resisting these temptations that would clutter my house. And when we talk about resisting the urge to buy, in this video, I will walk you through 4 thoughts that have dramatic effect on us humans, if we just pause to think about them for a moment. First one is that we have only some decisions per day. Let that sink in. So we really have only some decisions per day. And whether we use it at work or at home or with our kids or with our family, there is only a certain amount of those decisions that we have, like the cognitive capacity that we have for one day is given, and there is no going around it. So resisting the impulse to buy consumes the decisions that we have for that day. So you can only imagine that if you put yourself into the situation where you maybe need to work or try extra hard or do this and that, you are already pushing the boundaries of the decisions that you have, the cognitive capacity that you have for that day. So when we add shopping into this picture, it gets a little bit tricky. Famous researcher called Roy Baumeister, who has been studying willpower, self-control, decision fatigue, and energy depletion. Together with his former Case Western Reserve University colleagues, he examined the effect of a tempting food challenge. And this is really interesting. It was designed to deplete participants' willpower by an unfulfilled promise of chocolate. How unfair, I know. In the first part of the trial, Baumeister kept the 67 study participants in a room that smelled of freshly baked chocolate cookies, and then teased them further by showing them the actual treats. While some did get to try them, the subjects in the experimental condition, whose results were being tested, were asked to eat radishes instead. That is, some healthy, maybe a little bit awkward tasting vegetables, on my opinion, and they weren't happy about it either. As the scientists noted in their article, many of the radish eaters exhibited clear interest in the chocolates, to the point of even picking up the cookies to sniff at them. Those poor example people. After the food test, Baumeister's team gave the participants a second, supposedly unrelated exercise, a persistent testing puzzle. The effect of the test was undeniable. Those who ate radishes made far fewer attempts and devoted less than half the time solving the puzzle compared to the chocolate-eating participants, and a control group that only joined this latter phase of the study. In other words, those who had to resist the sweets and force themselves to eat vegetables could no longer find the will to fully engage in another task. They were already too tired. The key finding of this seemingly silly study was a breakthrough in this sector. Self-control is a general strength that's used across different sorts of tasks, and it could be depleted. This proved that self-regulation is not a skill to be mastered or a rote function that can be performed with little consequence. It is like a muscle. After exercising it, it loses its strength, gets fatigued, and becomes ineffectual, at least in the short term. This research was also important to serve as the foundation for many other studies, also on consumer behavior. For example, why it is more likely to engage in retail therapy when you feel brokenhearted. It is actually no therapy at all, so don't use it. Don't do retail therapy. Go to real therapy instead. Self-regulation and willpower consumes energy, and this causes ego depletion. And this is Roy Baumeister's theory, and it explains how this works. It is impossible to resist if we have already used all our willpower for previous temptations or decisions or life itself. It is impossible. And I want to pause here. There are so many clients also that I have that they are actually blaming themselves for not being able to resist the temptation to buy stuff, or that, oh, I am not able to declutter my stuff, and it's really dragging them down. And I feel so sorry about this, because I know and see that this is only human. This is only like so typical for human beings that we only can do so much. So if your life circumstances are draining you out, it's no wonder that you keep on buying, or it's no wonder that you can't declutter your house. So please be a little bit merciful on this topic, on yourself and on others. It is not an easy task. But for me, the knowledge that I find on these really brings comfort, and I hope it does the same for you. Also, if we know these things, if we are aware of these things, we can teach these to our kids. So Baumeister has also been studying kids, and he has said that children with good self-control, they do better in all life sectors. It's a little bit hard to hear maybe, but we can help our kids out by teaching them some techniques to maybe give a little bit steps ahead on this matter that you are actually consuming your willpower. So if you know this, if our children know this, then it's easier to not to put yourself into a situation where you can't resist anymore. He has also said that it is difficult to identify any major personal problems that do not have some element of self-control failure. So this comes from Baumeister, the social psychologist that has been studying our willpower and self-control. I find this really fascinating and interesting, and we need to be aware of that there is only so much willpower for us to consume daily. So if I put myself into the situation where I'm traveling with my kids, a little bit anxious already, so it is no wonder that even with all the techniques and the knowledge I have, I am tempted to buy stuff. The second thought playing a key role in this, that effortful self-regulation consumes energy, that we already knew. Until it can be replenished, further acts of self-control will be less effective than usual. Tired, overwhelmed parents and ego depletion, what a match made in heaven. So it is no wonder that if you already consumed all the cognitive energy that you have for that day to resist the urge of buying, and then you are maybe living a little bit hectic everyday life, or traveling, or doing something that is even more bringing you down and draining you even. Maybe it's a normal day or maybe not, but it's draining you down. So, and if you have active kids, and if you do not have someone else there, like second adult or a third or fourth to help you out, it is no wonder that you can't like refresh yourself. You can't get your energy back. You can't have the amount of willpower getting higher and like really filling your cup if you don't have the time to rest. So you might be ending up in a situation where you have only so little energy for any decisions daily if you don't get the rest in your daily life. This is a huge problem I see. So have you noticed any of this? Have you noticed the ego depletion taking a toll on you in your daily life? I would love you to share this in the comments, and I would love to know more. And I'm sure that others would make the use out of this, that they would know what to watch out, what kind of situations they might end up in, and they need to be ready to watch out for those. For me, it has been mind-blowing to start seeing this phenomenon. And now I have a name for it, and I'm really grateful for that. If you find these tips helpful, please click like and maybe subscribe. And then share this with a friend that needs to learn this today. The third thought that I have on this is that marketing pros know all of this. I must highlight that even if we consumers choose not to think about this, you can be sure that all the marketing and sales departments out there are thinking about this. And they really consider this when they are planning all the campaigns and how to place items in the store. I do not wish to make them seem evil, but I still feel we should be more mindful. I think it's a fair game if everybody knows the rules and how these things are affecting our brains and how marketing and sales makes us buy more than we actually would like to. Because it is no mistake that the candy is set next to the cashier. And it is no mistake that there are colorful toys on the way to the cashier. And it is no mistake that you can smell the lovely scent of just baked buns in the supermarket. They are all there to tempt us and the small bits of willpower that we still have left for that moment. It is intentional. Fourth thought. You do not need that stuff. You need something else. You might need recognition, love, rest. I, for one, needed rest. At the moment, I couldn't get that because we were traveling and it was just hard to, you can't really relax and get back to energy if you are traveling in a ferry with hundreds of other people and there is no place to really relax and charge up your batteries. In that mindset, with those physical needs, it is no wonder that it's really hard to resist the temptation to buy, because buying makes us feel good. Buying releases dopamine, and we know that by buying this we get a shortcut for the nice feeling that we are maybe lacking at that moment. Otherwise, I would get that nice feeling if I was resting or eating or drinking some water and refreshing myself up, but that seemed impossible, and it's easier to have that buying dopamine kick. Although we know, some of us quite intentionally, that the dopamine kick won't last. So there will be a buyer's remorse. And it comes quite quickly. The nice feeling from buying stuff won't last. It might last minutes or hours. One of my kids is a little bit sad example of this, because she gets the buyer's remorse quite quickly, and I know this, so I try to help her out and support her to only make really intentional purchasing decisions so that she could feel more happy about them. But then again, I also feel that these are really good learnings that we need to have as humans. But then what you can do as a parent is to walk your kids through these and give them words like what happened. This is normal, this is typical that this happens, and it's due to the chemistry in your brains. So there's nothing wrong with you if you feel bad about buying something after a small while. How could you then take back the control and help yourself out? And the kids also. There are several means for this. In this video, I will walk you through 7 different techniques and routines. You can add these to your daily life in order to be more mindful on your consuming. At least try some of them. First advice is to observe your own behavior and look for patterns. When do you buy, or when do you feel the urge to buy? This is really important. When I became aware of my own buying behavior, that was a couple of years ago, and I started noticing that when I feel down, when I feel really tired and overwhelmed, but I need to stay awake, or I need to stay in charge or look after my kids. That was the moment that sparked the need to buy some new clothes. And I think this is really interesting if you just observe it and take out all the human tragedy in this. But if I just observe this situation, I think it's really fascinating. So I was clearly looking for comfort in the buying of the clothes in many ways. Somehow it made me feel better about myself and the situation. And over the years, I have traveled quite a journey with this pattern, and I have been able to change it. So now I buy clothes only when I need them, or if it's really intentional decision that I want to buy a new shirt secondhand still, but I really want that, and I acknowledge that this is a want, this is not a need, but I'm willing to make this decision and really buy it, even though I understand I don't need this piece of clothing. So I started to see this behavior, and I was so happy about that, because that was the moment that I could change it. I could become in control of my own life again with that. So what are you really missing? Are you missing out some love or rest, or are you missing out some human connection? Why are you feeling the urge to buy? The great thing about this is also that you can't unsee something like this when you have seen it. So it becomes like really visible. Then you can change it if you wish. The second is to take a picture. If you see something worth buying, or at that moment it feels like this is worth buying, I want to invest my time, also my future energy and some space from my home to buy this, take a picture. This works like charms with children also. This is a method that by taking a picture, we show some love to the product or the thing that we want to purchase. We show some respect, like, okay, we acknowledge that you are there, we would like to take you home, you are so cute and lovely. So this also tells the child that you take their wishes seriously. And you can say that, let's take a picture, and if this is still relevant, within 30 days or something like this, we can return and then buy it. Then there is a clear boundary and a clear message, like clear journey for the children also to understand that this is how we do intentional purchasing decisions. And they learn to separate the need and the want by doing these really intentional routines and boundaries. The third one is to use a shopping list. So all the purchasing needs and wants and wishes and ideas that you get, you write them down into your shopping list. Also the wants and needs from children. So you keep them there on the shopping list, and it's easier to come back and see if this was a real need at some point, that we needed this. And by coming back to the shopping list, you can also check out if that want has become a need. There is a difference with these. So a want is quite short term, and a need is something that you actually have, that you couldn't live without, or you really need that. A want is something that disappears. A need will stay. So you can come back to the shopping list and see if this has lasted time, this idea that you had or the child had, and then that's more intentional, the buying decision that you make. If that has been on your shopping list, you have thought it through, it wasn't yesterday, but it was like quite a while ago that you had this idea and you still need that, then it's okay to buy it, probably, or at least more likely to be fine. The fourth technique is to obey 30-day waiting time for everything, for every purchasing decisions. And this is tricky if you are traveling or doing something that is only now available. Something is only now available, or like this is really unique. I still try to use this, even though I buy a lot of stuff secondhand. I still try to use this, even though that I know that the item that I want might be gone in 30 days. But I really try to think maybe a little bit ahead also, that do I need new shoes? Do I need new trousers? Like really, like imagine it in my head if I actually need something, and then I will sit on this thought for a while, because it might be that I already have those shoes or those trousers, or that might have been just a want that crossed my mind. So then it's not really a need that I should go after, but my brain is playing tricks on me. The fifth technique is to really stick to your pre-planned budget. It works like a charm with your kids also, since in this technique you are outsourcing the decision from yourself. You could be saying that also to yourself that, oh, Shade, that's really bad, but I can't buy this since it's not in my budget. So I need to push this decision to the next budget, or wait for 30 days or something like this, like really outsourcing the decision from yourself. That wouldn't be draining out of your energy, since you have all these techniques in use. Like you have the budget, you have the 30 days waiting list, or you have the shopping list, or all of these boundaries that you make are saving you energy, since there is no decisions to be made. It's either on the list, it's either on the budget, or it's not. So this is quite rational for children also. It might still arouse a lot of feelings in adults and also in children, but it's rational, and there's a rule, and we can follow these rules and save the energy of thinking about these things. The sixth trick is to trick your brain with pausing. And I use this all the time. If we are talking about purchasing stuff online, then you would simply click the item that you like and want and need at the moment, click it to the cashier, but you will not pay. Just leave it there. And the same thing goes if we are shopping in person at a store. Take the item with you if it's really, really, really nice and you want to purchase it. Keep it in your hand for 15 minutes. Do not leave the store before that. And one of my kids use this technique all the time. And it's really 90% of the cases end up in the way that she takes the item back. The dopamine kick won't last, and the buyer's remorse starts to creep in during those 15 minutes. And then there's the decision that I really don't want this. I really don't want to take this to my home to be my item that I need to take care of for the rest of the times. So this really works wonders both with adults and with kids. And with online shopping, I do this all the time, and with secondhand clothes. Sometimes it feels bad when I see that the item has been purchased by someone else. But honestly, there is no single one item that I have truly missed, that I had truly needed. But I have saved myself lots of money and effort with this technique. So don't buy anything at that moment, but wait at least 15 minutes, even days, if it's in online chart, to make the decision, to actually make the decision. That's giving your brain some time to get over the feeling, get over the dopamine kick, and the buyer's remorse can start creeping in and work wonders on us. Make us feel more relaxed with our less cluttered homes when we are not buying excess stuff. The seventh technique, I think this is maybe the hardest. If you are living with your children, and with small children maybe, you are rushing at work, you are maybe having a big house to take care of. The life is intense. My advice is to make a rule for yourself not to shop when you are tired or overwhelmed. This is really hard because most of the time you might be tired and overwhelmed. So it's not really, doesn't feel fair. But still, if you could find the times that you might be more relaxed, maybe during the morning, or maybe with less fussy day at work, something that you would know that you have the energy and the cognitive capacity to resist purchases that you don't wish to make. You know that those would be the clutter purchases. You know that these would not end up well. You would end up using a lot of money buying stuff that you don't actually want at your house. So finding the time when to go and buy the stuff that you actually need will help you with resisting the stuff that you don't need. And also teaching this to our children, that if we go to the store when we are hungry or when we feel that we need to rest, or we have some like physical needs or maybe some needs of recognition or something like this, this will lead into excess buying. And this will make it harder for us to resist the urge to buy. I think it's really a great gift for your children also to acknowledge these things that happen to everybody. Not only for the weak-minded, but to everybody. If our willpower is drained and if we don't have anything left or only a little left, the ego depletion is taking a toll on us, don't go to the store. Don't try to make the online purchases at that moment. There is quite a few cases that you would need to do it right now. Sometimes, yes, obviously you need to go and buy some groceries, but if you plan for your future self, try to find a way to prevent these cases when you need to go and you feel the urge to go and you are so tired and overwhelmed already. So plan ahead a little bit with this. You will save a lot of energy from yourself in the upcoming years. So simply do not put yourself in this situation. Hey, remember to comment if you have noticed the ego depletion taking a toll on you. I would love to know, and I'm pretty sure that everybody else would make a great use of those comments also. So let's collect a bunch of examples for people to check and be more mindful about next time. Try out these 7 techniques, and you can check out more mindful consuming and organizing videos on my channel. You can click the next video after this one. Moi moi!